Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Weigh-In. The title of today's episode is Don't Boys Cry. So
fantastic.
Yeah. So if you follow us, if you day one fans and you follow us, like, you'll know that we love the ladies. We respect the opposite sex. We hold them up to high regard. We don't worship anybody, but we hold them up to high regard. But at the same time, we are men, and I do think that men have gotten a bad rap, or they're getting done dirty, like right now as of 2020. And I'm being serious. I'm being serious.
No, I totally agree. I understand.
There is a war on masculinity, and it's open season, and it's almost, if you want to, go back to the title, like Boys Do Cry, and everybody makes this. Everybody is. You always hear the term "man up."
Yeah.
Like there's one side that says men don't show enough emotions, but then there's another side that's men start to show emotions if they start to say, this is what's bothering me, maybe I feel like I'm getting beat up a little bit. Then there's the other side that says, man up. Well, it's really unfair.
No, it is unfair. It is unfair, and it's funny because that word is slowly going to probably disappear from our vernacular because
the lexicon.
Yeah, definitely, because it's a terminology that actually is not what's popular today. Sadly,
yeah, man up is not PC.
Yeah. With
the fluid gender, transgender, with all the gender politics going on. They want to say that you can't say who's a man, but I feel as a man I get to say how a man should act.
No, something. This is a great. The way you just said it really sums it up really nicely. It's look at. I'll be the first to admit it, and so will you. There have been men in the past who have obviously abused the situation,
abused the power that they had.
Yeah, and took things to a degree of something that's unsustainable, unfathomable. You just can't live that way. But do we all have to suffer from that? I don't think so. Because you still have to have the essence of what a man's about, the same way you have to have an essence of what a female's about. Boy or girl, whatever it might be. If you take that away too much, you're messing with the cornerstone of life, really. I mean, a boy and a girl needs to have a father they can rely upon in a father way. I'm not saying that somebody who is transgender or gay or something couldn't do that. That's not what I'm saying. But let's not throw things, in the trash can and throw it and give it away forever. I mean, it's part of life. So it's probably a reevaluation that we're experiencing right now. And I understand, but sometimes hit the brakes a little bit, because my grandkids appreciate me for the male that I am, as the great-grandfather that I am. And that's all I can do, because that's all I know. Yeah. Don't tell me I can't do that. God.
Yeah, a big problem becomes when they try to label everything.
Yeah.
And the labeling of everything, once it becomes part of the narrative. Like they say mansplaining. Oh, this guy tried to mansplain to me why I couldn't do this. What if he's just one douchebag, stupid dude? Why does the whole, male or man, index of the gender, of the sex, have to get, that particular moniker now? We all have to take that, if any male tries to explain something and it's not in a way that I approve of, it's now mansplaining, and thereby mansplaining is not good. So when you start to hear that in the media all the time, once you're being inundated with that, maybe as a woman, maybe as a young girl, maybe even as a man or a young boy, you start to think if I explain something wrong, that's mansplaining and is bad, and we shouldn't throw these terms on men.
I agree.
We call it sexist if we do it to women. We call it racist if we do it to, different races. If, we put out slurs or say, if it's all Asians can't drive. Everybody knows that's racist.
Sure.
No matter how you feel about it. No matter if every time you've been in an accident, somehow, by some dumb luck, it's been with a person of Asian ethnicity. That's not everyone. It's obviously not everyone. So when you use terms like mansplaining, what you're doing is, if you have a son, if you have a brother, if you have a husband, if you have a father, you're disrespecting them.
Yeah, right.
Straight up.
Yeah, it's a slap in the face.
It's a slap in the face. You know, like if you're raising a young boy right now and you use the term mansplaining, all you're doing is making it harder for him, because you're making the landscape of society that he's going out to a lot more rougher, you know?
No, totally. I mean, I think what you're talking about also reflects upon the fact that, you know, we have a lot of polarization that's happening in the country. There's multiple variations of why we have polarization, but this causes another form of polarization.
Yeah.
Let's say you've got a bunch of males who are of a certain ethnic type of degree or a certain age level or wherever they are in their life, how they work, blue collar, less than blue collar, whatever you want to put the topic on, right? Whatever you want to call it. They have a hard time digesting this because all they think is like they're fucked, right?
Yeah.
It's like everybody's got to realize that there's always a transitional period in any kind of a life change. People will get it. I've tailored my conversations and stuff the last decade and a half or so. I've made efforts to be better, and I am better. And I never, you know, yes, of course, I've looked at a pretty girl before, and the pretty girls have looked at males before too. I mean, don't just all of a sudden tell me and anybody else that's a male that, like, you know, that we're garbage, so to speak. Like throw them out the door and stuff. It ain't gonna be that way. I call that an overcorrection.
Yeah,
that's actually got a lot of pain in that. It's got a lot of pain in there, man.
Yeah, because there are some men who are just born deep down gritty and they can just take it.
Yeah,
and you know, but there's also men who are still men who can't take it. They can't take the beratement.
Yeah,
you know, like I grew up never seeing my parents argue, so I'm a man that I don't like to argue in relationships. I do not allow it. To me it's a deal breaker. We can have, you know, like a civil debate, you know, we can go back and forth, but we're not going to raise voices. We're not going to put hands on each other, and we're not going to stoop to using lower tactics, you know, like mudslinging, you know, and name calling and bringing up things for the past. Like if we're addressing an issue, if I'm in a relationship with a woman and we're addressing an issue, we're going to talk about that issue and that issue only. We're not going to bring up past things, because like we're bringing up the past and we're leaving the present. We're in the present because we want to solve the issue so we can move into the future.
You gotta move ahead.
But every time like you get anchored in the present becomes the past, and then like you're stuck in the past. And that's, you know, that's not even being pseudoscience. That's just actual facts, the way we process time. But like I just don't allow it. I just don't do it. And some women feel like it's their right to argue with their man. You know, like it's never like having a debate, having a discussion is healthy. Screaming at each other is not, you know. And like I've been castigated many a times, you know, back in the day, you know, with different girlfriends were like, he just leaves the house when I'm trying to talk to him. You're not trying to talk to me. You're trying to yell at me.
Yeah.
What you say is like in your mind you think you're arguing. Like we're going back and forth. But we're not, because I'm not raising my voice at you. Like I said, I'm trained not to. I've trained myself not to. You're yelling at me. So my thing is, if I'm at my house, I'm going to leave. If I'm at your house, I'm going to leave, because I'm not arguing. It solves nothing to me.
It's not productive at all. No, it really isn't.
And the moment that I raise my voice back, then I become the big terrifying man, you know.
Yeah.
And
then
my masculinity is toxic.
Correct. Yeah. Well, look, right now as we're recording this episode, keep in mind the fact that the subject matter that we're talking about is happening right now, congruently, right? Currently, as we're speaking, It's happening. So we haven't actually seen where this goes from this point. So we are reflecting upon things which obviously are transpiring in current time. It'll be interesting to see exactly how this shakes out within the next couple of years or so. Hopefully, God forbid, it doesn't get to a point where it's worse. I don't see how it could be. But the men who need to be corrected need to understand. And
yes,
and we
without a doubt.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah,
but don't keep telling me I don't got it, because I understand it. You know.
Yeah,
I can't change. What can I change? I'm a male. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna turn into more feminine because I have to? I'm still a male.
No.
It can't go away. I don't know what to tell you, right?
No, like you need both sides of the coin.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like
I mean, why does somebody not talk about the fact that could females be overly feminine? I don't know if that's even a terminology, but it's probably a stupid phrase. But you get what I'm saying.
Feminine toxicity. Yeah. No one ever says that. You know.
Right, but think about it, right?
It's not in the lexicon, and it has not been popularized.
I know, but I'm just throwing it out there as a little side note. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I definitely know. And women, they communicate better than most men.
They do.
And they're used to communicating. That's what, like, if you're not a man who's like a publicly trained speaker, you don't do a podcast, you're not outgoing, you're not just used to talking. If you try to argue with your woman, you're gonna lose. Like, you're gonna lose. Like, like,
or it's gonna be a sore subject. Somebody's not gonna be happy. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but in my mind, 90% of the time as a man, you're gonna lose unless you have high, like me, I have high, sky high social dynamics. I see everything, and I, like I'm verbose, like I talk a lot, like, like I do podcasts, there's, in my other jobs, I have to talk to people. So I am equipped to argue, but I just don't do it because it's not in my tenets, it's not in my principles. But the average man's gonna get slayed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, in a funny way, just imagine like the way you are and stuff, and the strong person you are, straightforward guy. Everything you just explained.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not necessarily copacetic with a lot of people right now.
No. And I'm very assertive.
And you're a good guy though, too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
You know me. I'm a real good guy.
Yeah.
I'm very assertive. And to some people, especially now, and especially in the landscape of post-Me Too, which I know we bring up Me Too a lot, but it was such a definitive, it needed to happen.
Sure.
But like my dear friend here brought up, now we have the overcorrection. But circling back, like my masculinity is a problem. Like I'm assertive. I would not hurt, somebody. I'm not hitting a woman. I'm not a bully. I'm not picking on people who are smaller than I am, and I'm not yelling at people.
Yeah.
But my assertiveness, how strong I can come across sometimes, like it's like people want to live in this soft bubble, and they want to walk on eggshells. And here I come through, just stomping on the eggshells, popping all the bubbles, and they can't deal with it.
No, I understand why they can't.
And it's not me being overly aggressive or me being too alpha. It's just me asserting my dominance, for just doing what I want to do, but not, like not coercing anybody to do something that they don't want to do, or not, it's that energy that I give off makes people scared. And like, I love that quote from Wanda in Civil War, where she's talking to Vision, and she was like, I can't control their fear. I can only control my own. I can't control how people feel about me. I can't control like their bodily chemical reactions when they see me. I can only control my own. What I'm saying is, if we change the narrative that, a built-up man, is not something to be looked at as a danger, as something bad, then maybe these people won't see me as being bad. And maybe if I'm just like, yo, can I get through? They won't see it as me screaming at them like, yo, can I get through? But that's how they see it, because the narrative changes the perspective. If you grew up somewhere and you heard that regular house cats are bad, want to tear you up. When you see a house cat, you have that narrative in your mind. Even if like it's a little cat, you're still going to see it, and it's still going to spark fear, because everything that you have that's already been, inculcated and codified inside your brain already says you should be afraid. That's what's going on right now. Men aren't the bad guy. There are men who did bad things.
Sure.
And the media is going to spotlight those men because, anything that's sensational, anything that's out of the ordinary is going to get clicks, is going to sell papers, whatever. But most men that at least I know, and it could be a bias that if I'm a good dude, I'm only around good dudes, or try to only be around good dudes, are good dudes. We're defining it, and we're defending men. And we're also saying that men do have emotions. Men do cry. Like I said, circling back, the point we're trying to make is that, with the title, Don't Boys Cry, it's like, it's obvious. Men cry, women cry. Adults cry, children cry. Like, everybody cries. Stop trying to treat men like we're these, heartless, cold machines that don't feel anything, like, like the Terminator, when we're not. We're human beings like you. We stub our toe, we feel pain. So give us that. Allow us to, like, if you want us to connect and communicate better, allow us to break down when we need to break down, but be there to hold us together.
Yeah. Well, you said it pretty beautifully. Look, real fast, I want to mention something that actually is kind of related to this. Years ago, I never had a chance to watch the Mad Men TV show extensively. It ran for like 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah.
I decided to go back about a week or so ago and start over with season 1, right?
Okay.
I'm just about wrapped up with season 1. Now, this starts off in 2007, which is about 11 years ago, right? There's not a socially acceptable dynamic happening in that show at all. That show summarizes everything that's happening right now that's happening in this world.
Why it's happening?
Yeah, that show is the last vestige of the male asshole.
Yes.
That show would never come up as a classic nowadays. People will not want to watch that anymore.
Yeah,
if you get a chance to watch it, it's almost embarrassing to watch that show, to watch how fucked up males are in that show.
Yeah, they only get away with it because it's considered a period piece.
Yeah, thank God.
Comedy.
But
if they tried
it's horrible.
If they try to present it in modern day standards, it would not fly.
Not fly at all. But it's interesting to mention how I never saw that originally, and that show probably was very influential in a negative way of some of the things that are happening today. We're talking about in general.
True that.
And Julian, another fantastic episode. Thank you very much for your narrative.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and keeping an open mind, and if you see a dude out,
wave to him.
Yeah, just wave to him.
Be my friend.
He might be having a hard day.
Yeah.
That's the way in, everybody.
Over and out. Off, you sound like you're an Entertainment Tonight reporter with that type of outlook there.
Dude, I'm into all the tea, bro. Like, I'm into all the tea. I love the Smiths. The Smiths are black royalty. I'm into it, yo.
They really are, and it's quite a strange thing. There's been rumors going around for a couple of years that Will and they both had swingers. There's been rumors of the swinger thing for a couple of years, also. By the way,
yeah. So this is what I think. I think they do have an open relationship.
I agree,
but I also think that the Smiths are a business. When you're at that level of celebrity, fame, financial status, you're a business.
Sure.
And a lot of people were like, no, it's real. At the Red Table Talk, Will was crying. Now, I tell people...
he's an actor. He's one of the best actors.
This is my man right here. Dude, this is what I told people. So, this Red Table Talk happened a week and a half after the reveal. There's no way nobody came to him that he didn't see it on social media, that they didn't talk about it.
That thing was rehearsed and written and scripted.
Yes.
Yeah, look.
Somebody who gets it. This dude is an actor. He can cry on command. That was posturing. Because here's the thing. If they're the Smiths, if their brand is a wholesome family brand, they have to present that to the world.
Sure.
So if he looks like he was okay with it, or it didn't bother him, that's not a good look for the brand. It doesn't show that they're human. They get nowhere with that. But if he's crying and she had the affair when they were split up, technically, it's all good. People make mistakes. Mwah, it's beautiful. But what I think is that this young kid, she had a relationship with him, and he wanted more. And once again, I don't know. I don't hang with the Smiths. I don't know anything. This is just speculation on my part, having fun. But what I think is the kid caught feelings. Like he had a romantic relationship with Mrs. Smith, and then he caught feelings, and he couldn't take, her not wanting to be with him no more.